In this video, we're going to be talking about what Ethereum is. So it's like the little brother to Bitcoin, and it's a next generation within the cryptocurrency future. So let's talk about it. So Ethereum expands blockchain technology beyond digital money into smart contracts and decentralized applications. And let's talk about the innovative infrastructure. It underpins Web3, which enables decentralized finance, which means that you could send your money from one person to another across the world without any middleman involved, no security locks, no nothing. And you could send it within a secure way. And Ethereum also helps with NFTs, gaming, and governance. And as far as the global relevance, Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency and a global platform for digital innovation. Let's talk about Ethereum and let's talk about how it impacts our future. So Ethereum beyond Bitcoin, an introduction to the next evolution of blockchain. So defining Ethereum. Ethereum is an open source, decentralized blockchain that enables programmable smart contracts moving beyond Bitcoin's role as digital money. So these smart contracts are going to be used alongside Bitcoin to transfer money via NFTs, stuff like that. Ethereum is the source that pumps it. Okay, so you guys may have seen on Twitter stuff like that. People's names have .eth. Okay, the Bored Apes. All of that is Ethereum related. And Ethereum's broader scope. Unlike Bitcoin's primary function as a peer-to-peer currency, Ethereum acts as a global computational platform. Okay, so Bitcoin's main source is once again peer-to-peer currency, but there's also a limited source of Bitcoin. Only 21 million Bitcoin exists. Okay, but unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum acts as a global computational platform. So Ethereum is absolutely needed in order to do certain trades within the crypto space. So it has marked its value and marked its worth within the crypto sphere. Hence why it's been breaking new all-time highs and really just been making a lot of people profitable. And as far as the market relevance, Ethereum ranks as the second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, accounting for 20% of the crypto market as of 2025. And market capitalization, okay, market cap, okay, what that is pretty much the value of a cryptocurrency. The higher the market cap, Bitcoin has the highest market cap, it's in the trillions, okay, and the higher the market cap, the more valuable something is. Stocks also have market cap, okay, so think of market cap as the amount of value something has. The higher the market cap, the more of a chance that people are going to trust it as a strong investment to buy and hold, inshallah. So let's talk about Ethereum's origin and its vision. So Vitalik Buterin's white paper and mission. So Vitalik Buterin's white paper. In 2013, it proposed Ethereum as a blockchain with a built-in programming language to enable decentralized application. So what a white paper is, it's kind of like the laws or rules and purposes of the cryptocurrency. Okay, so that's what a white paper is. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna go ahead and type it for you guys. White paper. Okay, so a white paper is going to pretty much just be the cryptocurrency's version of like its laws, purposes, and what it does. Okay, and the vision of Web3. Ethereum aimed to decentralize not only money, but also the internet itself, empowering users over corporations. So we're trying to really enhance forward within the future peer-to-peer transactions, which means we can send money to each other without having any type of middleman, no banks, okay, involved. Okay, you can pretty much cancel out the banks, get rid of everything, okay, and just send money from one person to the other very, very cleanly and just withdraw from your wallets. That's the goal of crypto, okay? And in 2015, the Ethereum network went live in July 2015 with support from the Ethereum Foundation and global developers. Okay, so Ethereum is still pretty recent. It's only been out for around 10 years of the source of this video came out, okay? So the Ethereum blockchain architecture, how Ethereum differs from Bitcoin's UTXO model. So Ethereum works on an account-based model. Ethereum uses an account-based model instead of Bitcoin's UTXO system, simplifying transactions and smart contract execution. Okay. And in EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. It's the decentralized runtime environment that executes smart contracts across thousands of nodes. So the Ethereum virtual machine is responsible for processing the Ethereum contracts responsible for getting funds transferred from one person to another and responsible for the processes being completed. And as far as the gas and computation, every transaction requires gas and denominated in ether, which combinates miners slash validators for computation. Okay, so gas fees, if you've ever heard of that, okay, gas fees, that's going to be related to Ethereum as well. Okay, and let's explain what these smart contracts are. Okay, so it really automates trust on the blockchain. That's pretty much what these smart contracts do. Smart contracts are self-executing programs stored on the blockchain, and they're triggered automatically when predefined conditions are met. Okay, so they eliminate the need for intermediaries by enforcing agreements through code, reducing costs and risk. Okay, so unlike a bank and stuff like that, a bank can see every single transaction that's going on, that's happening. Okay, and as long as you have one person's wallet code from the other and it gets confirmed on the blockchain, you're going to be able to send transactions. Unlike a bank, which has to verify your transaction and could reject your transaction. With Bitcoin, as soon as you hit send, it's in crypto space. It's on the blockchain and the contracts are being processed. And you cannot reverse anything also. Okay. So make sure that you are being careful when you are sending or receiving crypto. Make sure you guys' keys are being copy and pasted correctly. Okay. And as far as some real world cases, smart contracts power DeFi protocols, NFT marketplaces, supply chain management, and insurance automation. Okay. So Ethereum has a lot of real world cases within the world. It's not useless and it actually has some future prospects and some future uses going forward within the world. Okay. So decentralized applications. Let's talk about what DApps are. Okay. So DApps, building the Web3 ecosystem on Ethereum. DeFi, let's talk about decentralized finance, what this is. So once again, the whole purpose of crypto is so we can avoid middlemans, okay? So say you're a person, you want to send $1 million to someone in India, okay? So you're gonna send it to Bob. So you're sending it to Bob in India, right? So you're sending the 1 million here, boom. Say you try to send it through bank, or say you try to send it through PayPal or something like that. Declined. Okay. PayPal declines the transaction, right? Let's say that. Now on crypto, for example, let's say you, Joe, sent your 1 million again. Okay. Say you sent it in ETH. So what you're going to do is go to your crypto wallet. You're going to be able to click send. And then you could easily send it to Bob. Okay. And he can get his 1 million in ETH easily. Okay. No middleman, just pure, raw, peer to peer transactions. Okay. So no middleman involved, just sending it from one person to the other. And it just gets confirmed on the blockchain just to prove that the transaction occurred. Okay. That's pretty much all the blockchain is really for. So if you guys ever say or see confirmation addresses, they pretty much just prove the fact that the Bitcoin was transferred from one place to another. And Ethereum dApps power NFT platforms that tokenize digital art, collectibles, and intellectual property. Okay, so once again, Bored Apes, NFTs that you guys see, certain other things that you guys see as well, mostly are powered by Ethereum dApps. Okay, so Ethereum, once again, has a lot of good uses outside of just the chart moving up and down. Okay, and as far as the gaming and supply chain, so blockchain-based gaming, dApps, and supply chain solutions leverage transparency and ownership tracking. So you guys may have seen, especially big during the NFT days, people may have been creating NFT games. Okay, there was a lot of stuff like that, and all that is powered by dApps, which is all globally powered by Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Let's talk about the differences between the two giants. So transaction speed. Bitcoin averages 7 transactions per second, whereas Ethereum processes 30 transactions per second, with the layer 2 scaling achieving thousands. Okay. So Ethereum processes just a little bit slower, but still going to process just fine, inshallah. And the purpose, Bitcoin is primarily digital money. Okay, so Bitcoin, once again, it equals 21 million of it. Okay, it's a limited resource. Okay, so think of it kind of like some gold. Okay, so Bitcoin is kind of like gold and diamonds. It's just a limited resource. But Ethereum actually has purposes and functions besides just currency. Okay, so Bitcoin, the reason why it's important, it's like digital gold. Okay, but Ethereum is actually used to power certain websites, functions, NFTs, and other stuff within the crypto space that's really, really important. And as far as the scalability, Ethereum continuously evolves in ETH 2.0, sharding and rollups, while Bitcoin prioritizes stability and scarcity. Okay, so once again, the purpose of Bitcoin, the reason people love it so much is because it's a scarce diamond like resource. And Ethereum has purposes and functions, and it's a programmable platform for decentralized applications. So people can trade large amounts of currency, whether it be NFTs, art, or however you want to do it, using Ethereum. Okay. And proof of stake in Ethereum 2.0. So sustainability and scalability in blockchain. From proof of work to proof of stake, Ethereum replaced energy intensive mining. So if you guys might have heard of POW, Bitcoin needs something called POWs in order to be mined. So every single Bitcoin that you guys have seen has been mined by a computer, and every computer is powered by power. Okay, so Bitcoin, you're exchanging power for the Bitcoin to be created. Okay, and Ethereum gets rid of that. So Ethereum is a lot more safe for the world. It's a lot more environment friendly due to the fact that it replaced energy intensive mining with proof of stake, cutting energy use by 99.95%. Okay. So Ethereum for the world. And luckily there's a limited amount of Bitcoin because people can't just keep mining, having like 30 computers. These are people's rooms, just 30 computers, giant graphics cards, just 4090s, the best cards, just super hot room mining Bitcoin all day long. Okay. That's what people are doing. And that's how every single Bitcoin has been created. It's been mined by a computer in somebody's basement. Maybe their mom's basement, maybe their own basement, maybe their room. Okay. But for the most part, these are guys who just have tons of basements lined up. Okay. And tons of warehouses lined up filled with computers mining Bitcoin. Okay. So, yeah, you guys need to do what you need to do. Even if you need to go home, go stay with your parents, stack up some bread. Okay. And invest, or go build your own mining rig. Okay. Do what you need to do. Okay. There's a lot of ways to make some currency within this world. I'm not limiting you guys to anything. So let's talk about staking and validators. Validators stake Ethereum to secure the network, earning rewards for honest behavior and risking penalties for misconduct. Okay. So they stake ETH to secure the network. And once again, there's earning rewards is a big incentive for ETH traders too. There's a lot of little quests, a lot of little Ethereum games and stuff like that that people play. And yeah, just a lot of little stuff within the Ethereum community, NFTs, stuff like that. And it's such a big community, and there's earning rewards involved for honest behavior, and you could also risk penalties for misconduct within the NFT community. So Ethereum community is extremely respected community. They come in there, they take it serious. People are playing with big money, and yeah, really just like the anonymity of keeping your brand in certain places and having ownership of certain things as well with such value is very nice as a human. So let's talk about some scalability gains. Ethereum 2.0 enables higher throughput through sharding and layer 2 rollups, improving global usability. Okay, so Ethereum 2.0 makes it a lot easier to use all over the world. Okay, and Ethereum 2.0 makes it easier to make it so that everyone can use Ethereum. Okay, and it's not just being used by only a small percentage of people. Okay, and let's talk about security and limitations. Let's talk about some challenges facing Ethereum's growth. High gas fees. Okay. So transactions costs can spike during network congestion, making Ethereum expensive for small users. Okay. So sometimes gas fees, especially with trading Ethereum, sometimes you could literally just lose like a good percentage of your money if you just withdrew. So be careful with Ethereum. Sometimes there's high gas fees, but if you do invest, there is some great money to be made. And once again, it does have its great uses. But when you do withdraw, if you notice that you're missing some money, That's due to the fact that there is higher gas fees than normal on Ethereum. And it's for scalability bottlenecks. Ethereum handles 30 transactions per second natively, far below centralized systems like Visa, which can do like 65 transactions per second. But it's getting there. Ethereum, it just came out 10 years ago. People have been swiping their card for some decades now. So let crypto give its time, let these laws get passed, and then, yeah, just let all these documents and stuff get passed. And inshallah, we should be able to see crypto being put into the future. Okay, really, really heavily. And as far as security risk, smart contracts are vulnerable to bugs and exploits, with billions lost in DeFi hacks since 2020. Okay, but once again, as time passes, security is improving over time. Okay, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Security is improving over time. So when you guys do put the lock on your account, make sure you guys are using 2FA, make sure you guys have secret keys, and make sure you guys aren't sharing your information that doesn't need to be shared. Okay. And Ethereum research and industry. Okay. Adoption across enterprises and government. So let's talk about some academic research. Over 2,500 peer-reviewed papers discussed Ethereum, covering consensus mechanism, economics, and applications. So people are getting informed. If you're watching this video, you're probably curious what crypto is. And if you want to learn more, you can head over to StackMODE.net, where I'll teach you guys how to trade pretty much anything you want. And enterprise adoption. Companies like Microsoft, JP Morgan, and Ernst & Young deploy Ethereum-based solutions for finance and supply chain. So now we can see that Ethereum is now getting used within the real world bank scenario. Okay, so Ethereum, I can see the value of it increasing over the years, especially as billion-dollar, trillion-dollar corporations begin to implement it within their processes. Okay, so Ethereum has some uses. And let's talk about the government and public sector. Governments explore Ethereum for digital IDs, land registries, and central bank digital currency pilots. Ethereum can also be used to pay for stuff all over the world too. Okay, you guys can also get a card for crypto where you guys can also spend your Ethereum, spend your Bitcoin or whatever, and you guys can go ahead and swipe that and go ahead and go spend your money on. Okay, so the future of Ethereum, scaling innovation and global impact. Layer 2 scaling. Rollups and sidechains are expected to support tens of thousands of transactions per second, making Ethereum globally scalable. So the TPS, transactions per second, is increasing over the time, especially as Ethereum 2.0 is being worked on, as updates come, as laws are being passed. Ethereum and cryptocurrency is trying to compete, and if not compete, shatter the way banks operate. And sharding implementation. Sharding will split Ethereum into interconnected chains, increasing throughput and lowering cost. So once again, those gas fees we just talked about, inshallah, over the time, we should end up seeing those lowered. Okay, so you guys should be paying less gas fees whenever you guys are trying to trade Ethereum. Okay, and global finance and Web3. And Ethereum is poised to underpin decentral finance, identity, and governments at a global scale. Okay, so DeFi and decentralized finance, sending transactions from one person to the other without any middleman, it's going to be the future. And Ethereum is here to stay, inshallah. In conclusion and key takeaways, Ethereum beyond Bitcoin, beyond digital currency. Ethereum is not just money, it's programmable infrastructure for Web3 and innovation and adoption. Smart contracts and dApps fuel DeFi, NFTs, gaming, and enterprise applications worldwide. And banks, don't forget to. So if you guys are thinking about investing in some ETH, I would recommend you guys just doing some research, buying it at a dip level, because as you guys can see explained in this video, trillion-dollar companies, billion-dollar companies have interest in its uses and processes, which means it does have some value, inshallah. And a future outlook, scaling via the layer 2 and sharding positions Ethereum to underpin the global digital economy. So the way transactions are being done within the future, it's looking to change forever. Okay, you guys can invest in cryptocurrency because not all cryptocurrency is just here to just make you profit. These actually have legitimate uses and legitimate purposes within the real world, which inshallah is going to give it some overall value, just like the stock would. Okay, I love you guys so much. Most importantly, stay prayed up to the one and only God. Don't ever give up. Inshallah, keep grinding. StackMode.net for all trading education. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. I pray it helped. Peace.